In three, two, one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another spectacular piece of discussion for y'all, but I wanted to talk about Jontay Porter and how I feel that it is unfair that he got banned for life from the NBA, and I think it's actually hypocritical. And this is my whole thing why. So, I don't think Jontay Porter actually did anything wrong in a completely moral sense. Business-wise, yeah, he made a blunder. But if we're talking about, and it's business-wise for the NBA because business in general, what he did was just business. He placed bets on himself and he won about as much money as he could get playing in the NBA. And you gotta think about it, right? So let's say he's making 1 or 2 mil, I think he's on one of those kind of deals, right? He places this one bet, 80K, and gets back most of his salary off of one game, right? You got NBA players that make a whole lot more than him making what he made on his bet on their games, like Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, where they get like $1 million a game, basically, almost, practically. So for him, it was a very smart decision because think about it. Why would you go out there and put in all this effort to play and do politics and everything, knowing that since you're the kind of guy that they'll toss and throw from the G League anyway, like your career in the NBA is he'd be lucky if it got to 10 years, right? So he kind of already knows in the back of his head he's gone at any moment because he's not even like the journeyman type of player. He's just one of those guys that fills a roster spot, but at any point he could be in Guangzhou, China. So he pulled the right move because he made most of his money. And I don't like the NBA banning him because if we're going to keep it for real, we know the NBA is rigged. How do we know it's rigged? Because sports betting is legal. You got to understand this about betting, right? If sports betting is legalized and also allowed to advertise and sponsor sports clubs, the betting sites cannot make money unless people lose bets, not win bets. They can't, because even if people win bets and they can get percentages off, especially when they withdraw, they make more money when people lose because people lose more than they win. So they have to structure these games in a way where people lose all the time. If you're a sports league, right? Most sports leagues tell us that they want the teams to play in a fair competition, but it can never truly be fair if another part of your business requires people to lose money, because if they don't lose money, these betting companies, they end up going down, which means that's a lost source of revenue for the NBA when it comes to sponsorships. And you gotta look at it as a whole. Think about this, right? You guys do not find it suspicious how as soon as sports betting was legalized, the only advertisement you really see for sports is betting, and it's pervasive everywhere. Every single sport now that allows sponsorships anywhere has a betting sponsorship, and there are so many different ways to bet, so many different apps to bet. It's all fixed, and that's why you shouldn't bet either, because you gotta understand, right? The only way betting is worth it, it's like stocks. If you're an insider, then you're gonna make money. If you're not, then you're going to have to eventually be an insider, or you're going to have to be the kind of person that just figures out data, information, or hacks into people's shit. Because if you're doing this going in blind and just kind of trying to guess and predict, it's not going to fucking work. I'm going to tell you like that. I try to bet, and I know it's going to sound like I'm salty, but I try to bet, and I had one bet where I made this crazy parlay. I threw in maybe $15, $20. It was going to come out to 500. I'm talking about parlay of parlays, right? My parlay was ruined by Chris Middleton Chris Middleton scoring 13 points, and I had him on, I think over 14 and a half. No, over 14. I think 14 and a half, right? And Devin Vassell, I had Chris Middleton over 13 and a half, and he scored 13. And I had Devin Vassell over 20 points or something. Either way, all of these dudes had to do is make 2 buckets, 1 bucket each. I lost out on that 500. And to me, I was like, I know this is rigged because I know players are cheating. There have been several reports of players all across many venues, pro, amateur, of betting on themselves. There's one guy in college, he won some bets, and then he went and made some other bets, and he lost all of them. And it was mostly because he actually was betting on himself to play well, but he lost a lot of money. But nevertheless, this is in college, right? And I think we're going to start to see the implosion of sports as a business as we know it, along with the implosion of the economy in the world, because we're kind of at this point now where sports are too, they're less entertaining, and more so they're trying to be like a new financial sector almost, because to me it never really made it like college sports, the NIL deals. To me that doesn't make any sense, because you got kids like LeBron James' son and Mikey Williams and stuff. These people are making millions of dollars by being in college. You're not supposed to be making money by being in college. You're supposed to get scholarships, working for yourself, and then you're supposed to set up situations where you make money post college. You go to school to learn how to make money afterwards. Wow. I do not like these goddamn planes always rolling around, these freaking looking for these Chinese balloons. But as I said, you go to college to learn a skill to make money. You don't really go to college to make money unless you're trying to work for the college. And none of these kids are employees, and they're making millions of dollars while the cost of education keeps going up. And let me remind you that these kids, these college football teams and everything, they make money for the school, but if the school was simply a college football team, the school would go bankrupt, because the money is made from the student loans and the students. So I'm of the kind of person that feels like colleges really should even have sports, because what does sports have to do with academia? These kids should just be pros. And I could get into it later about how America, for such a big country, it's kind of a shame that we can't have all these pro sports and all of our different in all of our different states, the way like something like the European Union has theirs, or even like places in Asia where if you want to be a pro athlete, you've got a lot of venues to go to. But if you want to be a pro athlete in America, damn near half the sports we have here, you might as well go overseas. Like soccer, might as well go overseas. Basketball, might as well go overseas. Golf and tennis are global one-on-one kind of things, you know. But for the majority of sports we have, it's really no point in trying to be a professional athlete in America, because you basically have to be the top percent to get into the leagues here, because all we really got, the only leagues we got that really are going to pay you anything are like the top pro leagues, and there's nothing under that shit except a bunch of semi-pro stuff where your team can go under any moment. But we're going to get back on track here. So yeah, Jontay Porter, he didn't really do anything bad for himself, and because we've caught him, we know other people are doing it. And I know that the NBA is covering this up, because think about this. Why is it that Jontay Porter immediately got banned for life from the NBA, and you have not heard any follow-ups about any investigations? Because let me tell you this. If this is David Stern's NBA right now, literally you would hear investigating into NBPA and stuff like this, because you got to understand, it's not just Jontay. It could be Michael Porter Jr. Actually, who knows? He could have used his little brother's money to bet, because a lot of people will say, well, you know, here again, NBA money, and his brother got like $170 million deal. Why would you even do this? Because, nigga, that's the game. It's free money. He goes out and does bad. It's free money. It's easy money. It's the easiest money ever make in his life. You know, his brother had to go through like back surgeries and all kinds of stuff just to get to that contract. And if his brother, you know, if he didn't perform correctly, they're not getting that money anyway. So even though they got a lot of money, it was much easier for him to make that mill than his brother to make any of his bills. I'm gonna guarantee you that. But I really feel like this is just another reason why sports betting should just not be legal in America, because it's a scam. It's a complete scam. I mean, You have to understand, like, it's crazy, but think about it, dog. Like I've said before, if everyone loses, they make money. If we all win, they don't make money. By default, that lets you know that there are things that have to be done to make sure people lose their money, which means that the games have to be, there has to be tampering in the games because there's an agenda and there are businesses with billions of dollars at stake. So it makes me think about like when Anthony Davis last year playing against the Nuggets, whatever team. You remember his stat line? He would have 40-some points. Then he would have 15 points. Then he had 37 points. Then he had 12 points. I found that very mysterious, suspicious, because in the playoffs, when guys get 40, the stars, when they get 40 and 30, they do that like concussively or consecutively. I'm going to say concussively because I like the way the word sounds. They don't just score 40 and then score 15 the next game. Like, and if they do, either that's their dud game or they just stay duds for the rest of the series. I'll let James Harden. And in my opinion, I'm pretty sure Anthony Davis was betting too. It's an extremely deep rabbit hole. And again, we know the NBA has had, I wouldn't say an issue with sports betting, but with Tom Donahue, he got caught. And Tom said a lot of refs were doing it afterwards. And after Tom got caught, you didn't really hear about them cracking down. You don't hear about them having any kind of protocols to make sure nobody's betting or nothing like that. And with Adam Silver, Adam Silver is probably the softest NBA commissioner ever. He is the softest commissioner in all of sports. All he cares about doing is making the NBA a league for teenagers, because you really can't take the man seriously. And they've gone through way too many ideas, and just the league does not. It no longer has the perception of a league for men to compete in basketball. It is purely Hollywood now. The NBA is just purely Hollywood. I mean, don't get me wrong. The teams are good, the players are good, but it just doesn't feel serious anymore. It doesn't. I don't get that feeling that a lot of like overseas European teams get. Like if you go into an NBA arena and just listen to the game, like nobody gets serious to the playoffs. But then again, the regular season means that ain't shit. And a lot of guys, rest and everything like that. The NBA right now is just on another level. But I'm gonna not speak too much because I want to close this off and make this succinct. Adam Silver, you're a bum for banning Jontay Porter for life. If anything, the worst he should get is like a season suspension with no pay, and then basically let him, just give him a second chance. All right. Because it's kind of unfair that betting is now the entire identity of sports, but then you guys do everything you can to make sure that the players can't bet. Do you realize that you actually can't just limit it at the players who are playing now? You'd have to make it a rule that any player, whether or not they're in the game today, like any player, I mean, dude who's retired or dude who just got cut, you have to make it a rule that they can't bet, period. Because guess what? They know guys who are playing in the league. Sometimes they know refs. Sometimes they know GMs. They know coaches. So they're insiders. Anyone who's associated with the league is an insider. And then anyone associated with them is an insider. Because, honestly, the problem with Jontay is he just was a little reckless. If he was smart, he would have figured out how to get funds wired or whatever, so-and-so, to, I don't know, maybe an acquaintance of Michael's who may have a lot of money or whatever, because Michael's kind of big of a star. He knows people. Wires the money to them, breaks down the money amongst several accounts, amongst several betting sites, and then goes off and then wins that money, or maybe even more, trying to tie parlays. Everyone can work together in this. So it's a bag of Cheetos that is expired and is going to crack your teeth once you start crunching it. Sports betting should just not be a thing, because now we're taking something that's supposed to be pure entertainment, something we purely relax, and something we do local bets with our friends with, and now we're going to try to addict people to gambling. I know, like, it's about business and it's basketball and everything, but what happened to the entertainment side? This is not entertaining. This is dystopian. And this is pathetic. This is pathetic as shit to me. It just goes to show that greed is the root of all evil, because it seems like every corporation that's big here in this country, at some point I'm starting to think that it's not even about the money. It's just about the control. And even the entertainment sector, like the NBA, is going to be used to control you motherfuckers financially by making y'all addicted to gambling, making y'all addicted to losing your money, and then basically going into debt for this and having to work for the rest of your life trying to fight this addiction or trying to get your money back or trying to pay someone off. It's a shame. Scary out here. But either be like Jontay Porter, bet on yourself, or make clear bets if you know what's going on, or don't be like Jontay Porter and just stay away from it. See you next time.